You found the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Reach for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
What the hell, bro? Don't say it sucked, dumbass.
Live from the Twin Cities.
Look, you guys can go if you want.
We're on drugs.
Oh, shit.
We're accidentally on drugs.
Accidentally.
It's the Twin Cities Hit Show.
We ended up getting trapped in an elevator with a Rastafarian guy, and he just hotboxed the whole elevator, so we were stuck in there for like 25 minutes, and we had to breathe the weird marijuana air. Earl, am I right?
That's exactly what happened.
Let's get this hit show started.
Did not inhale.
I did not inhale. Yeah, I think the Gremlins will come in and rearrange all the tech every night to inhale.
Yeah, the room is high every morning.
Yeah, I want to be high right now. It's probably the only way I'm going to calm down.
Look at this spaghetti of chords in front of us that Miss Shannon is.
Do you
have OCD? Do you like?
yes,
you
and
do.
so it bothers me, and
Oh,
so that's
she's
why
like
I keep
pegging on
fixing
your
it.
board then.
That's why I keep fixing it. And
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that
I'm
too.
like, I don't like big tangled messes of
No,
chords or anything
no.
like that. It makes me uncomfortable.
This is a professional operation here. We
At
want
least we
things
try
in
to be.
order. This is not a. Well, yeah, I guess it is a shit show.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. Not to keep harping on this, but I don't know who comes in here and plugs one headset into one and one mic into four, and this goes to three. And there's no rhyme or reason.
I blame Jeff Dubé.
You know what? He's been a handy excuse for us for a couple of weeks now.
He's what?
He's been a handy excuse for us for a couple of weeks now.
Hey.
I blame Dubé for everything.
Hey, it's the Twin Cities Hit Show. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
I'm Rusty Gatenby.
I'm Chuck Gollop.
Hi, I'm Miss Shannon.
And in the world of politics, things are getting crazy. I think at least for a while here, it's going to be fun watching what happens at the Republican Party. If you haven't heard, the Donald
Oh, yes.
could be the next president of the United States.
Oh, you know what? He's going to win like Ventura would. He will back his way in as a joke. Yeah.
Well,
Finally, you're fine. I don't even think he's going to make it to the primaries
hope
again
not.
this time.
right now he's tracking at, 4%, so he would be the 9th person on a 10-person debate, which is what my fingers are crossed for. I want to see him up there debating.
What could he talk about other than his stupid TV show and his failed finances?
He's not going to talk about his TV show. He's going to talk
Yeah.
about how the fact that he has failed and recovered would be a metaphor for our great America.
Yes,
That's what
But
he's
hey,
going to do.
look at you, positive spin. I like that.
No, I just understand how people completely twist
yeah,
things and
yeah.
spin things. And so he's not going to say, here's a crap show. You know, he's going to go, here's how come I would be different than everybody else.
Here's why I bet he didn't run ever before. Number one, he knew he was going to lose. Number two, he's got a pile of skeletons in that dirty closet of his.
Like what?
I
What do
don't
you know?
I know nothing, but it's all coming
Look at
out.
you throwing
It's coming out. I'm telling you, there's no way that guy is not
insults
clean.
at Sir Donald.
He is not clean. Oh, this will be
What
fun.
I was
think?
surprised is evidently he did get his finances back together. I know he had to declare, or his businesses, several of them had several bankruptcy
But
issues.
that was different bankruptcy. That's
Yeah.
super rich guy
Corporate bankruptcy,
Yeah,
where
it's
it
not
doesn't-
like when we go into bankruptcy and
Yeah.
I can't get a house. It's,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not going to pay you, but these other
Right.
people will give me money so I can start a new venture. That's totally different bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little bit on Donald's announcement.
Good morning. You know, normally when a candidate gets into the race, there are these courtesy press releases from their opponent, from the party, welcoming them to the race. Well, none of that happened this time. And while no one expects Trump to get close to winning the nomination, that doesn't mean that they're
Trump
happy
does.
he's in.
Donald Trump brings many things to the GOP field. Confidence,
I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created.
money,
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
and a disdain for his fellow candidates.
We have losers. We have losers.
The biggest loser, according to Trump, is former Florida Governor Jeb Bush.
He's weak on immigration. He's in favor of Common Core. How the hell can you vote for this guy? You just can't do it.
Donald Trump took you on in a speech today about Common Core and immigration. I want to ask you. You
Sorry.
Is that...
I shouldn't have done that.
Bush laughed that off on Fox, but party leaders worry Trump's presence will turn the primary into a joke.
See, that's the thing. He's going to start ripping on fellow GOPers like Jeb Bush, and it's like, why are you throwing rocks at our guy?
He's going to throw rocks at everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to throw rocks at everyone.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And so the other thing that I think is interesting, did you see this? So he came out when he made his announcement. He used that Neil Young song, Rockin' in the Free World.
Whoa. Sorry, yeah.
And Neil Young's like, oh, no, you don't. That song was not about what you were doing. Stay off my song. Kind of thing. And I always think it's interesting. Because that happens at least once each presidential election, that somebody uses a song and then whoever the artist is calls them up and goes, nope, not you. So
Reagan used Born in the USA, first of all, without understanding that the lyrics were not God Bless America.
Oh, yeah.
And then Springsteen went, no, stop using my song.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes if you listen to the whole song, the lyrics aren't quite literal from the title. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to do that, you should at least edit. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
know,
listen to the second verse and then find out.
So the late night comics are going to have a heyday.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't get to the part where he talks about his thoughts on immigration in Mexico and how they're just thieves and rapists. Yeah, well, way to get that Latino vote there, Donald. But here's a moment from Jon Stewart last night.
And what followed was over half an hour of the most beautifully ridiculous jibber-jabber ever to pour forth from the mouth of a back billionaire.
The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. They're laughing at us. How stupid are our leaders? We have losers. We have losers. When did we beat Japan at anything? China has our jobs, and Mexico has our jobs. When Mexico sends its people, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
You know what? This will actually be a fun election to
It's
watch.
just inciting so much hatred and turmoil.
He's like, he has no filter, first of all, and he has the confidence that's just off the Richter scale.
It's just bravado. He's just going to say everything.
Here's a little bit more. Go.
They can't all be rapists. It's not probable. This guy just disrespected our southern neighbors at his presidential announcement. You're a bunch of drug dealers and rapists. No disrespect. It's amazing. America's id is running for president. Trump is the part of your brain that's like at 3 a.m. going, let's go take a in the mailbox. Come on, who's going to know? Now every candidate uses their announcement speech to reel off a litany of the values that define them. So did the Donald.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second. I've done an amazing job. A total net worth of $8 billion. Net worth, not assets. I have the best courses in the world. The Grand Hyatt Hotel, the Convention Center on the West Side, Trump Tower, Bank of America building in San Francisco. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China.
At least he's being honest and knows that he's ridiculously rich. Because that statement that came out a few months ago when Hillary Clinton goes, I'm not rich, I'm not poor. I'm like, you don't know the definition of those words, clearly. Like, so at least there's none of this, hey, I'm a common person and I'm this. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're super mega rich, and you're a celebrity for just being a celebrity.
I just want him to get to the debate. Just get to the debate.
That would be so
They're
fun
not
to
going to
watch.
let him get to the debate.
He won't make
because
it
it will be a travesty. Like, you won't get anything done.
Well, they don't have a choice. It's the popular, it's the polling. If he polls at 4% or higher, he'll be in the number 9 or 10 spot.
I don't think anyone will take him seriously doing this stuff, but it is fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You're right. It's very Jesse Ventura-like, and no one gave him a chance.
Yeah.
Can we just elect his toupee if we don't want him? His toupee, I believe,
Does he get a full vote?
His
I don't know if
toupee
he
has
gets
the
a full
power of
vote.
speech. I'm pretty sure it does.
I have a problem with that. His toupee was not born in America, and I can prove it.
Oh.
Birth certificates.
Or the tag.
Yeah.
No,
the tag. Just lift it up. Peel it back a little.
While I was doing the internets this morning, I came across what I thought was a brilliant summation of what's happening currently. And this is this sound I'm about to play for you is dusted off from I want to say 15 years or more ago, a comic named George Carlin.
Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
I'm going to stop just for a second because you realize he's a comedian. There's
Yes.
not a joke here.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to let him continue.
It's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
That is a comedian doing stand-up. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
That is George Carlin being George Carlin.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. So don't say it like every comedian can do what he did.
Yeah,
that was,
true.
Something that
I
is very
loved it.
special
It was like
and that he can do.
We're laughing, and silly. Like, oh, why? We're still laughing and cheering, but there's not jokes being told.
And there's some people who are brilliant at that and other people who think they are and cannot. So, there's a difference.
Speaking of brilliant comedians, Chuck, introduce our guest this morning.
Oh, there's no guest. You're talking about me, right? Brilliant comedian.
No.
Oh, Mike Brody. Look at this. Mike Brody, comedian, fantabulous. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, were you a fan of George Carlin?
Yeah. Who isn't, right?
Right.
I thought you said, who is he?
Oh, no, yeah. Who is he? No,
Never
of
heard.
course, yeah, man. Everybody loves George Carlin.
Not only are you a fantastic comedian, you smell wonderful this morning.
Do I?
When Mike Brody walked
Wow.
into our studio, I was like, ooh.
Ghetto shower.
it
That's what that is.
What are you, huh?
You didn't shower and you sprayed a bunch of cologne on. I know what you're up to.
Deodorant.
Okay.
Why did you just turn my compliment into an insult?
Because
I was like,
I'm just speaking reality.
He's a horrible person.
I just
Jealous.
thought you smelled really nice, and I was going to applaud you for that. I was like, "You're my friend, Brody." I got positive
The
reinforcement. Thanks a
government
lot,
took his
Chuck.
deodorant.
Typical.
I read an article about you on the city pages. Was it online? How long ago was that article? Someone Facebooked me and said, you should have this guy on the show. I go, well, guess what? He is. He's coming on the show.
Oh, you mean the award that I won kind of thing?
Is that what it was?
The best comedian in Minneapolis of all time ever?
Yeah, something like that. I love it. I love it.
Is it is you, right? The beard joke?
No.
You're thinking of
different
our guest
guy.
next
Different guy.
week.
Oh, guest
Oh.
next week. I should look at our show.
Yes.
Forget
It's a
it.
great show. You should listen to it. It's fun.
And you just confused him with somebody that he's nothing.
But
like.
I'm glad that we have Mike, I'm still glad we have a comedian here because I love the process of comedy and I want to talk about what makes you laugh and what your humor is.
So
First,
back to introducing Mike. Not only is he a very funny local comedian, he's also a number of other things that a lot of comedians don't get to say they are. Like he has a video that went super viral.
Yeah.
Which
one?
Uh-huh.
The Kevin Love jersey burning video.
Oh,
The
yeah.
video
Okay,
that-
that's right. All right.
Yeah, 2.7 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kevin Love mentioned it in an article, which is like the greatest thing ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think is still great that I know you don't talk about this as much as you used to, but he was the official comedian for the Ghost Hunters TV show, which I think is fantastic because that to me is the comedian version of like there's a band out right now called X Ambassadors. They have a song called Renegades, and it's like Jeep Renegade picked him up and like gave him a bunch of money. And so to be the official song because they're like, hey, you wrote a song. You write a song about renegades and we'll put it in our Jeep commercial. So the fact that you're like, I really like ghosts, and the ghost hunters are like, yeah, you probably really do, and you become their official comedian, that's a awesome milestone that lots of comics don't have anybody that you're like the official comic of anything.
That's awesome, but I got to start writing jokes about renegades.
That's what I thought, too. I'm like, or a patriot or something. Just give me a car.
You also broke this Rachel Dolezal piece. It's up on our Twin Cities Hit Show page, but apparently she was a founding member of Bad Brains.
Oh,
yeah.
Which is an all-black.
Yeah. There she is. Yeah.
I didn't write that.
Well, you discovered it. Then. You discovered it.
Okay,
Right. You're like a paleontologist.
A paleontologist?
Paleontologist.
Are those people that are friends of fossils?
They're pals.
Well played.
I like it.
It pales in comparison to the other one. Hey, do we want to update the sexy prison lady who had sex with the murderers?
I'm so turned on. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
Here we
go
go.
on.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News there was an agreement between Mitchell and the two men to kill her husband, Lyle.
Oopsie.
Unknown at this time is whether Mitchell was in on the murder plot or if it may have been an attempt by Matt and Sweat to force Mitchell to help them escape. Stephen Johnston is Mitchell's new attorney.
I'll just say that she's very upset. She's distraught.
Law enforcement sources confirmed to CBS News that Mitchell told investigators she had sex multiple times with Richard Matt inside the prison.
Yeah. So they're having sex in the prison.
Well, you got to find a place when you're in love and things happen and... you're bound to develop relationships
There are
with these
security
people.
cameras all around Walmart.
Not in quad 4 in the upper right corner. Apparently, you can squeeze in a little
How
love
are
right
they
there.
able to get away with secret sex in a prison?
Was one of their names Sweat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
the
know.
last name, yeah.
That it had to happen.
Very unfortunate, that
it
name.
had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still on the loose. They're putting up posters at the border today, and I'm like, really? You waited 10 days to put up those little posters?
Well, they've been so much press about the whole thing. I think everybody figured they'd seen the pictures, but now it's like, let's bring it. You don't want interest to wane because they're still out there. And so now we're focused on the fact that we have her caught. And so people are going, well, maybe we're just done because we have such short attention spans. It's like, no, these guys are the real danger. This lady's just crazy.
I think if you escape from prison, then you should get to go. That it counts.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you at all.
Ollie,
That sounds
ollie,
really
come
scary.
free.
Well played, gentlemen.
When I was
You've earned your freedom.
When I was in junior in high school, I had a chemistry test, and I didn't know how to do anything, and so I just memorized all the equations. I wrote down 9 pages of chemistry equations. Didn't understand one and got an A-.
Okay.
And I thought it counted. And I think that if you get out, then well played. Yeah. You're
Oh,
done.
I hope no, because these people are terrible people. I want them to find them quickly.
Oh,
And so,
no, let's not judge. Let's
not
not terrible.
judge.
Actually,
They had bad childhood.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, I have no idea what they did. I assume
Exactly.
they stole a candy bar or something
Yep,
like that.
no, they're like murderers
One
and stuff.
killed a cop,
Murder,
and then
dismembering.
The other one beat someone to death in a robbery, I believe. So one killed a cop, one beat someone with their bare hands, and I think that really they had rough childhoods, and we're punishing them for things that aren't their fault.
So they've been on the lam for 10 days, which I find incredible. It's like, wow. Is it one of those where every day that ticks by, the more likely they are to never get caught?
I would say, yeah.
Is it like that, missing persons thing where 48 hours if you haven't found them?
Well, from everything I had seen up to this point, that they thought they might still be in the area because their getaway plan failed and there was no
Because
evidence
she
to
freaked
indicate-
out?
She freaked out. She realized, oh, that was really bad sex. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm not going to support this. But there were no stolen cars. There were no, at this point you would think that would have happened. But they have such an intense ground search and the canines and helicopters.
How much do you think that search is costing us?
I'd say
a day.
Probably $100K a day. Yeah.
Wow.
No. $1 million a day.
Oh.
So we're $10 million into this. At what point do we go, okay, yeah, let them go?
What's the cost-benefit analysis of the murderers being
Yeah.
free? Because the likelihood of them going, you know what, we made it out, let's turn over a new leaf and just become farmers someplace quietly, that's not going to happen.
Well, we definitely wouldn't have found him if Chuck was running the budget.
No, because he would have just bailed on him.
Hey, I could do it for $100K. That's why I'm saying that. Reform, man.
Oh, now you're all efficient is what it is?
I'm Chief Chuck, and my finance guy, Donald Trump, and I are going to really make this work.
I went to Home Depot. I got this bullhorn. Just shout, Come back. We know you're out there. Come back, Shay.
Oh.
I had a budget of $100.
The one person who doesn't seem crazy in this whole mess at the moment does seem to be Joyce Mitchell's husband, Lyle. And because at first it seemed like there were reports saying that he was going to support her, and now he's coming like, there's no way in hell I'm supporting her. There's no way.
So
Thank
he's the
goodness.
husband who may have been on the hit list with the murder.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were supposed to break out and kill him.
Yes, and so there were a lot of reports that were saying that he was in support and he felt bad for her, and now he's coming out going, nothing. Yeah.
Visited her in jail or whatever?
Yes, now his lawyer is saying nothing can be further from the truth, and added that his client, there's no way that he's standing behind her. Good job for you. Don't prove you're crazy and be like, oh, poor her.
You know, that's tough for a husband to come out and just take a stand. That, you know, the wife that was going to screw her lover over his corpse after helping him break out of prison is actually standing up and saying, no, enough is enough. I think that's great.
He should stand behind her, because if she's behind him,
Yeah,
he can't keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
So, did you hear about Jeffrey Ross and his Comedy Central special that's coming out?
No, I didn't. Go ahead.
He's the king of roasting.
Mm-hmm.
He went into prison to roast prisoners.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Fun time for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
Evidently, the special, I've only seen snippets of it, but it's supposed to be quite compelling because it brings out a whole bunch of issues about what's wrong with our prison system. But here he is on Jimmy Kimmel just describing a bit of it.
I did 2 shows for the guys and 1 show for the women.
Oh, and who was more receptive?
They were both amazing, captive audiences. And no walkouts. Yeah. But interestingly enough, the women I found to be more vulnerable, and they all, I do the speed roasting bit where anyone who wants to come on stage can get speed roasted. And the women were very open to talking about their kids or waiting for them on the outside. One lady told me she had 2 boys waiting for her when she gets out in 18 to 24 months. I said, that must be really tough, calling the babysitter, saying, I'll be home in 18 to 24 months. Just help yourself to whatever's in the refrigerator.
Wow, that's that's sad, actually.
Yeah. It was heavy. It was heavy. But you know what? None of us are perfect. We all do dumb stuff. I've drank and drive. I've lied on my taxes. I shot Suge Knight. Nobody.
You're the one that shot Suge Knight.
Anyway, I thought it was a pretty bold move to put yourself in front of that audience.
I mean,
yeah.
You can get shanked.
No, he got attention for it. There's guards. He's
exactly. It's
show.
not like it's like.
But if you got someone with nothing left to lose, and I'm going to punch you.
They have lots left to lose. A lot of these people are trying to get out soon. I'm sure they didn't put him in maximum security and just put him in the middle of the room.
He said he came out. He said, "Where are all my murderers at?" And the guys in the front row were raising their hand.
Well, I still don't consider this anything brave.
Did you hear what happened to Lefty? Yeah, he got 2 extra weeks for stealing a role. How about Johnson? Yeah, he shanked Jeffrey Ross.
He went and talked to people that you already know could potentially be violent with a bunch of people around to protect him. We've done shows in the middle of nowhere where you're like, wow, I didn't know there was anybody violent in the room. I guess I wouldn't have done that. So
he wanted to wear an orange jumpsuit like everyone else, and they said, no, if a riot breaks out, we want to be able to identify you.
So that's just smart. So that helped him too.
That's saying there was a chance. It's not your typical show. Here's a moment of his speed roasting.
I don't know, man. I want to try something crazy up here right now. If you think you have thick skin and you think you can take a joke, yeah, come up here, bud.
Now, what would you do? You got criminals. How far would you go with your jokes?
Well, he needs to go as far as he possibly can.
Yeah.
He should just say, I mean, that's his job, is to just go as ridiculous as he can.
These people are incarcerated because they have a chip that doesn't follow society's rules.
Right.
So this guy, if you insult
and he's
this
trying
person,
to push it as far as he can and hope that something
you are
interesting
at
happens.
risk of getting hit, choked, kicked,
Yep.
tackled, knifed
And
with
he
a
signed
shiv.
up for
Of
that.
meeting a girlfriend.
Yes.
All right, here's a bit of his jokes.
All right. Want to come up here, buddy? Want to come up here? Come on up. This is the ugliest police lineup I've ever seen. You are adorable. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael? Where you from, Michael?
College Station.
College Station? Oh, are you a college student?
No.
No.
I got locked up before I can go to college.
You got locked up before you could go to college? Oh, yeah, that's what happened, sure. Like you were going to fucking Harvard and all of a sudden You look like you're one of those rare people who looks like a child and a child molester at the same time. You look like a sweet guy, like you wouldn't hurt anybody. You're not a violent guy.
I don't know about that.
Shit, next.
Anyway. Say?
I don't know, man. I want to try.
Sorry. Shut up, Jeff.
Sorry about that.
I can't wait to see the show. I think it airs this weekend, I believe, but you know how that works. Comedy Central, it'll be around and around again and again.
Right.
It looks
So,
interesting.
good
You guys
for
are not impressed.
No. But it's not my style of
I'm
comedy.
indifferent.
I mean, there's something for everybody.
I think
though.
it's funny. I think what he did is funny. I think it's a great marketing idea, but I don't think it's dangerous, like
No.
physically at all.
No.
Wasn't dangerous when Johnny Cash went in there?
Yeah, because I read about that. They are understaffed. They only had a few guards when they were doing San Quentin and stuff like that. And he was worried. Yeah, the guards were worried. So
And
that was dangerous.
And I could actually here's
just
the other
because they
reason
were
why-
understaffed.
Well, they were nervous that if there was a riot, they couldn't have been able to stop them. They didn't have enough. They had like 4 guards.
And I agree with him. Here's the other reason why I think it might be violent is that, or more dangerous, is that we know, because Brody has said stuff like this to me before. When you're around somebody famous and you don't know how to act, in that certain situation. Like, we were sitting at a basketball game, and Brody's like, I'm close enough to this person, I just want to run up and punch him in the face. And I'm like, but you don't punch people. Why would you punch him? And he's like, I don't know, I just cuz. And so...
Who was
I could
it?
see just some basketball players.
All of them.
Any Timberwolf or Jazz or whoever we were watching. And
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you...
To go viral again?
No. It's just because they're
A
real.
compulsion, just an odd compulsion. So I could see it be more like, I could be the guy that punched Johnny Cash for no reason other than just to be the guy who punched Johnny Cash.
No, that's not even it. I was at the Triple Rock, and the drummer from Green Day was sitting there, and my first thought was like, he's real. I could punch him in the head.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd ever get this close to
I didn't
him.
want him to get famous for
Right.
I want to be the guy who got famous for hitting the guy from Green Day.
Your first thought is I could punch it. Not I could go meet him. He said I could punch him in the head.
Well, what am I going to ask the guy from Green Day? Hey, how are 14-year-olds? That wasn't a pedophile joke.
That was his fan base.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just the way my head works.
Our
Well, you're not
14
perfect, Chuck. Look at you.
I am perfect. Don't you pull that on me.
Perfectly
Don't you
disturbing.
Today of all days, do not pull that on me.
Let's roast you.
Roast
Let's do it.
Bring it.
I don't know. You have an apple. It looks too hopeful. A little sad guy with an apple trying to fix his teeth, keep the doctor away.
Yeah, and I'm terrible at roast, so I'd have to check out on
You
that
have
one.
an apple. It looks hopeful.
Have you done roasts before?
Yeah. Sometimes comics do it for each other, and
Right.
it's really just it's a bunch of people patting each other on the back. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're so special. And there's 4 people in the audience that have no idea who any of them are.
Right.
Like, oh, man, remember when you did that? Like, no.
Not at all.
No.
Remember when you used to date this person? Nope. Because none of us locally have a big enough overlap of fan base that the people that randomly came to the show would know what we were
Speak for
talking about.
yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true, because you went viral. I did not. So
Because the roasts you see these days get pretty mean and ugly.
there are people who are excellent at writing these
Oh.
jokes, and I think that that's the difference now, because they used to, like, when
They get
when
paid a
those,
lot of money.
Yeah, and when those roasts started way back in the day, and you'd see those, I felt like it was the high profile
Martin
version of what we do,
roasts and-
because it would be a bunch of their friends that would come up and they would say things that would be kind of, some of them would just be, pleasant jabs along with the stuff that was mean. Now it's just there are, some comics and some writers that are really good at writing that kind of material, and that's what they do. They're professional writers, and that's what they do, is they do that circuit.
Nobody was friends with Courtney Love.
Exactly. There wasn't anybody sitting there going, I just, congratulations.
They got
on this
pretty
whole
mean on
situation.
William Shatner.
Yeah, they got pretty mean on just about everybody. The Justin Bieber thing, nobody was sitting around waiting,
yeah.
going, yeah, this is his crew sitting there saying pleasant things about him. They were ready to...
And Jeffrey Ross has made like a career out of doing these roasts.
Right, him and the Lisa Lampanellis and,
Yeah.
those they're just
Jeffrey
really
Ross
good at-
he's like the flagship one.
Yeah. You find a niche and you go with it.
Sure.
Well,
Sure.
Describe your comedy. How would you describe what you do?
I'm just. I hate that question.
Sorry, we didn't limit our question.
Hey,
No, it's so hard to answer.
We got a
but-
half hour more of shitty questions.
No.
Stick around.
No, it's hard to explain because I feel like when comics get this, and I'm not talking shit, is that when comics we don't really think of it like, oh, I'm the wheelbarrow comic, or
Yeah.
I'm the guy that does this. Like if I asked Chuck what kind of comedy do you, he'd be like, well, I'm just Chuck.
Damn right.
Right, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's hard to explain because I'm like, okay, there's either a stand-up comic or there's like a prop comic. So
Yeah.
If I had to explain it, I guess I would say that
Well, there's people who the politics is kind
Yeah.
of their meat and potatoes. Jim Gaffigan is kind of a clean. Food has become his thing.
Right. That's super rare, you know? Like, oh, yeah, I'm a comic. I just talk about wrenches. Like, you know, like, it's really weird that he
I don't
talks
see that.
But he does talk about food a lot.
Yeah.
So that's very accurate. It's really weird that he does that.
Yeah.
If I had to explain it, I guess I would say I have a lot of energy, but I'm not Carrot Top, and I'm
Right.
not one of those comics. Like, I try to have smart comedy, you know? Like, just I'm naturally a person with a lot of energy, you know? And so I try to have jokes that are, like, smart but, like, entertaining. That's how I try to look at it. Because I can't help it. I've tried to, like, hold still on stage. But I just,
You're kind of jittery.
Yeah.
You're fairly
It's all the
calm
Red
here
Bull.
this morning.
Yeah, because it's the morning, and I hate the morning. And it takes me a couple hours to...
He just finished his Pepsi Max. He hadn't had enough time to kick in yet.
Right.
All right. Well, when we come back, I want to hear more about your comedy. We've got you've been waiting to do Baltimore for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
we
know
gotta
if
do
we'll get to
Baltimore.
it. But we're gonna do, that'll be funny. That'll be hilarious. That'll be a laugh riot. We're gonna take a break. We'll go right back.
The Twin Cities Hit Show. We'll be right back.
It's been a Twin Cities food legend for almost 30 years. It's been the anchor for the Minneapolis warehouse district since it opened. And you may not know that the Loon Cafe can provide their outstanding creations and much, much more for your gathering, whether it's a private party or corporate event. For custom catering beyond the menu, contact the Loon Cafe. They'll create foods that will amaze your guests. Leave the cooking to someone else. Contact Brian at the Loon Cafe for your catering needs. Call 612-332-8342 or visit looncafe.com.
MacMen. Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005. The Alive and Social Network is alive and growing. From the best in sports, music, movies, and beer, Alive and Social is what all the cool kids click on. Featuring characters like radio rebel Jeff DeBay, Star Tribune pundit Jim Suhan, Unfiltered, and television veteran and handsome man Rusty Gatenby. You can also taste the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly. Join the band with live band karaoke night from legendary O'Gara's in St. Paul and the live music showcase from Shamrocks. Yes, Alive and Social Network does indeed rock and roll. The Jeff DeBay Show, Jim Suhan Unfiltered, the Rusty Gatenby Review, the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly, live band karaoke, and Shamrock's live music showcase. Join the fun. Be alive and social with the Alive and Social Network.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it 3 times fast. We just dare you.
Yes, Chuck, we did run the Loon Cafe. New
Hey.
sponsors
Nice.
to the Alive and Social.
Very excited. Lots of good stuff.
We got the blue and white taxis
Blue and white
on
taxi.
board.
In fact, we're going to talk about them because they have a very interesting program where you can order
pay a
taxi.
driver to take you somewhere?
Yeah.
How does that?
And-
That is crazy.
Yeah,
Do they drop you off where you tell them to?
No, that's the
They'll
part
drive.
we're missing.
It's their
Yeah.
discretion.
Yeah.
You pay them. They'll drive you, but
They've
the roll of the
set
dice
it
where
up.
you end up.
They have an app, and you can set up your pickup so that instead of
So you
calling,
can plan ahead.
Yeah, which
I need to be done at 8:15.
yes,
I don't care.
In fact, my blue and white's here. I got to go, guys. I'll see you.
Exactly.
Got blue and white. Got 3rd Street Brewery, right?
Yep. Yeah, they're delicious.
And we, of course, will be down at the Chart House with the patio shows every Thursday evening.
Yeah.
5:30 evening.
5:30. It's an evening.
Late afternoon.
Yeah.
Evening.
Yeah.
Mike, you should come down. It's fun.
All right. Yeah.
It's Lakeville.
What do you say?
It's in Lakeville.
Oh, I thought you said Slaveville. I was like, what? There's a
Same
town
thing.
called-
That's why I don't go. Like, go places I know I can leave. That's all right.
You know, speaking of the prison, I did part of the stuff in that special. They said there's more black people in prison than there were slaves in the 1850s.
That's
Oh, good.
statistic
Rachel
came out recently.
Dolezal can finally go to
That
prison.
is
Yeah.
insane. And as well as there's more prisons and jails than there are universities.
Right.
Yeah.
This is ass backwards, people.
Yeah.
We need Donald Trump to fix this.
Which he is not. These are not his constituency, are not the people that are in the prisons that are being wrongfully thrown in prison.
I mean, things have got to change. Hillary will fix it. No worries. Right?
I think just to be devil's advocate, I do think that there's a shit ton more people in general than there were.
True.
Oh, I see.
That is math,
And
yes.
I'm not saying that it's not accurate and it's not wrong.
Proportionately, I still think that there is a problem, but I understand what you're saying, why it is also just a
There's
yes,
more-
we have more people to go
There's
to prison.
more bad fish in the sea, is what you're saying.
There's just,
we gotta
there's
net
just a
them
lot
up.
of fish.
Yeah.
Asian carp.
We, per percentage, lock up more people than China does, and we all get angry with China and their human rights. But we
Is
lock
it
up
what
more
we
people.
do with the people that are locked up, though? That's what we're saying with human rights. We're saying that there's, once they get to prison, what happens to them. But I also think that there are a number of people who are in prison that really have mental health issues that then spiral out of control and they end up in prison.
I agree with that. In China, they don't have to put them in prison. They just die from smog.
Yeah, that's true.
If they were born in the first place. Yeah, we don't let girls through.
They have lots of people, period, though, whatever. So why did you become a comedian, Mr. Funny Pants?
Mr. Funny.
I'm actually not wearing pants.
Oh, gross.
Well, it is Pantless Wednesday.
I was working at Iowa City at a bar, and basically a regular who wasn't funny at all went up and did an open mic somewhere, and he killed. And I was like, I could be funnier than that bastard.
That loser.
So just out of spite, out of evil spite.
And it worked out for you.
Yeah, I never stopped doing it. And it was in Iowa where you can only do one open mic a month.
Okay.
So
why?
It's just there just wasn't a lot of opportunity back then. I think there's a lot of places now, like with the internet and stuff like that. It's
I
changed
thought
it,
they
but
passed some law that there should be only one open mic a month. That's all we can handle.
I started in 2000. I started in like the weird period. It was like post boom because the 80s and early 90s were the big boom, and then pre YouTube, which I think started in like 2005. So it was like you couldn't put videos online. You just kind of just sat there and nobody cared, and there was no hipster comics. It was just kind of.
Can you find the guy that stole my badge in Iowa City and started using it to pass stolen checks? That'd be great.
That was me.
Yeah.
Wait, stole your...
Yeah, I went down to Iowa, drank a lot, and someone stole my badge wallet out of my...
You mean
badge?
You mean
like
you
you're
got
an
my
officer?
police badge.
So you got pickpocketed
Yeah.
as a police officer.
Yeah, I was drunk as hell.
And you
Well,
could
it kinda
pass
seems
checks with
to
a
me-
badge?
Yeah, well, I used my badge to pass a bunch of
Well,
stolen
here's
checks.
what I find interesting about the
Good
scenario.
to know.
You,
So he stole your checks and your badge.
No, he started writing checks to me and then using my badge to cash them.
That's ballsy.
wait.
It is
so
very
he,
ballsy.
So he was pretending to be you and then wrote checks for cash.
Yep.
Out
And
of
then
whose
instead of
account?
having
Yeah.
his account, so
Yeah.
he wrote cash. You
Did
can
you-
write a check to yourself for cash.
No, he
instead
wrote a
of-
check to me.
Right.
And cashed it. But it wasn't my actual bank account. He tried passing me
And
the
then
bank
did you ever? Nobody ever caught him.
Nobody ever caught him. I'm like,
I'm still confused
Wow.
on where the money came from.
the stolen checks.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the
like they-
checks
Yeah.
were stolen.
He stole my wallet,
Gotcha.
and then he, went through, stole a bunch of checks.
But
out
that's
of
what I
cars
mean
and
is that
stuff,
instead of writing a check to cash, you can write it to yourself,
Yeah.
and then the bank will sometimes just
Yeah.
or used to give you the money when we all carried
Yeah.
checks back in the Stone Age.
This is legit. I'm
Yeah.
a police officer.
And I think it's very the fact that you're like you asked Mike Brody, a comedian, if he could assist you, a former police officer.
Well, the police didn't
in a
do
legal
shit for
issue.
me.
Yeah.
My
I was
badge
gonna
is still floating around.
So
was
there's
gonna
not
say-
a comic like a vigilante squad
And
that could
it-
go out and assist
It
in
happened
crime.
in Iowa City, that little square area where all the bars are.
The Ped Mall.
Yeah, that's that pedophile mall.
No,
Yeah,
it's called the pedestrian.
Oh,
mall.
totally
Yeah,
misinterpreted
that's
that.
why you were
That's
there.
why I went there, though. It was a good draw.
Wow,
Bad marketing.
you were a really good cop.
Drunk. I was a good cop. That's what cops did off duty. They drank back in the day.
Come with me, Timmy. I'm a cop.
Swear to God, I'm a
So why
cop.
were you in Iowa City?
Motorcycle trip. Because all good. We were going through Amish country, and as I recall, Amish country somewhere near.
You're
Iowa City.
drunk on a bike in Amish
See,
country.
everything about this
no,
is
no,
just
There's no Amish people.
questionable.
Well, we
and
worked
odd
our way
and
over to
weird.
Iowa City. We were just on like a.
You mean the Amanda
Midwest-
colonies?
Yeah. We worked our way over there.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
I do.
Were
have
you
an
drunk
idea.
during the motorcycle
He
trip?
was in Idaho. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Those were potatoes. Those weren't even Amish people.
Oh, maybe I was never a cop. I'm so confused.
I probably think you weren't. You could be the Rachel Dolezal of cops.
You just started. I present. I identify as a police officer. Is what you're
I
saying.
identify as a drug Amish.
Yeah.
Have you met my boyfriend Timmy?
I definitely have met some comics who identify as comedians,
but aren't in fact actually comedians. Yeah. Well, let's besides Chuck, who else?
Oh no.
No, I think if you
can't throw names
you
out
tell
there.
jokes into a microphone, you're a comedian. But you can be an open micer, you
Yeah.
can be a semi-pro, you can be a pro.
Do you remember Did You Kill then? Your first time going up?
That's complicated because I stacked the room. You know, which is, I think, the smart way to do it. You know,
Yeah.
And Vivian laughed her ass off, and you were good.
Vivian.
He said Aunt Vivian.
Oh, Aunt
You didn't
Vivian.
hear the
No,
aunt.
no, I didn't invent relatives. No.
It's Uncle Vivian.
I did it in my underwear too. There's a
You're
lot.
like, go all in.
There's a lot of things, and I'm glad I'm started in Iowa where nobody would know now. Yeah, for the first
What was
five.
the premise of the underwear? Starting in your underwear?
Nah, just that I wasn't
No
in
ex-
underwear.
Yeah, just
It was like, early alt comedy. Ooh. I just
Garanimals this.
So for the first 5 times, all my friends came because I worked at a restaurant, so I could really. It's easy to stack a room when you work at a restaurant. There's tons of people. And then the 6th time, I think they were just like, okay, because it's once a month, so it was like 5 months in. And so like the 6th time, nobody came, and I was like, oh, comedy's hard. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just thought saying stuff really fast and being crazy. I thought I was punk rock. It just wasn't good. It was really bad. But
Like I remember you asked me this question it's probably like 6 or 7 years ago. You asked me, it's like, when did you think you were funny? You know, kind of thing. Like, when
Still
did you
waiting
think?
on that
Yeah,
one.
see,
Yeah.
and I was like, I thought that was an interesting question. It's like because there's a difference between. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't ever get super comfortable. I think that's just the nature of us being comics. But it's like, when do you go, you know what? I am funny. I do this. So,
I mean, I've had like new jokes. I'm like, oh man, that's a really good joke. But then, 4 months later, I'm like, oh, I want to put a bullet in my head if I tell that joke.
Yeah.
You know?
The joke's still good. You're just tired of telling it, or the joke becomes ungood.
It's like you ever stared at your hand long enough that you're like, man, hands are weird, and they don't. Like, what's a hand? That's what jokes become. You're like, eventually you tell.
Where do you get your mushrooms?
I stole from Chuck's pocket with his ID. I mean, sometimes you tell them and they don't even have any meaning, and you tell them so many times that you actually. It's like you ever you forgot your combination because you did it too many times. Sometimes that'll happen with a joke, and then all of a sudden, one time I told the punchline before the setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get lost in the joke sometimes.
Hey, you said you stole my badge. I don't need the badge. Can I get my mushrooms back, Mike?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And then how long does it take for you to work on a joke? Because a joke is always, you move a word, change a word, right? You got to say a joke in front of an audience many times before it hits, or no?
I mean, like, for instance, that the guy that you confused me with, he in his article.
Is he funny? He's not here. Let's talk about it.
I mean, yeah, he's funny. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I read that article.
Do you like him? Is he nice?
What? Yeah.
All right.
He's a gentle lover.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think he would be. He looks cuddly.
Yeah. So in his article, they're talking about him like being finicky over one word, like, oh, it's 3/4 of an inch of a beard or 1/8 of a beard, and he's sitting there at home and pacing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking smack, but that's because he's a newer comic and he's sitting there pulling his hair out. I just go up and I would know within like 1 or 2 times just by saying each one, like one way or the other way. Like, okay, that's what it is.
I think that sometimes it does. You get better at writing for you, like the same time the way you have like an actor say you find your voice, so you can turn a joke quicker. And some people are just better at turning a joke faster, and you can go, yeah, all right, this is it. I just have to get practice saying
on
it.
the drive here, I was listening to Howard Stern, who had Jim Gaffigan on, and he was talking about. He's got a whole new hour of material, and that's what he does. When he goes back out, he tries to do a whole new hour. But they went through the nuance of this joke he does about bowling. He actually came up with like 12 jokes about bowling, and like I guess 6 of them made the cut.
Right.
But he said the premise just began with there are bowlers, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah.
And then from there, he started to, and one time he went out in front of people, just stated that, just to see where
And
it
just
started riffing.
Built it.
He has writers too, though.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know for sure his wife helps him write his jokes. I think the thing is, like, when you get famous, I think like the turnover is so crazy.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I don't even mean that like it's a bad thing. Like, oh my god, I mean, if any of us got famous, we would have to have writers. If we're putting out a new thing every 30 hour, Chris Rock has writers. I'm convinced that Louis C.K. probably has writers. Like,
I'm sure he does now.
At this point, you can't put out a quality.
And
thing.
they probably come back through, but and they're really good at editing. And there's some things that are
making it their own.
It's a team.
Are they sworn to secrecy? That would suck if you're like, my jokes are killing, but I can't tell you.
No.
That Louis C.K. is actually the one doing it.
But I think that there's like, if you watch a lot of these things, you'll see people in credits, and there's collaborative efforts, and a lot of these people get paid for things, so they don't say anything. So it's not like there's a difference between getting paid for something. That's the reason I went into comedy. I wanted to be a writer, but you can't. Nobody's going to hire you to write for them if they don't know who you are and you're not out there doing time.
Everybody know like Rodney Carrington. I mean, it's well known. He paid like Isaac Whitty to go help write him some jokes.
Yeah.
And so they went and they wrote and they got paid, and then they didn't use any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean,
I'll take that because then you
What
use
do
the
you mean,
joke.
ouch?
No,
What
but
do you
it
mean,
wasn't
ouch?
that they
It wasn't
weren't.
offended.
It wasn't
It
that
just-
they weren't funny. It was just like he was, Rodney Carrington.
Yeah, and then you didn't need them anymore.
Penis. Let me sing about my penis.
Yeah, so I think things just change. But I mean, we even there's times where we'll write a joke and then we'll get together. Like you brought up the workshop, and we'll get together maybe in a writing. Like I have a group of friends, and we get together and we write sometimes. And I'll go, okay, here's a premise, and we'll all go through some stuff, and I help other people, and they help me, and I'll go, that's that. Oh, they're using that tag that I gave them, or
I mean,
and
there's
then-
etiquette. Like
Right.
I've been telling a joke or telling a story that I was thinking about, and then a comic says something's really funny, and I go, oh hey, can I say that on stage? And they go, oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
That's the etiquette of it.
Or somebody will see me tell a joke and go, oh, and they'll have like a alternate ending, or did you think this? And I'll go, oh, and either I'll consider it or I don't. But it's nice to have some information like that. So I mean, I think it's
But I
if
feel
you're in the community, sometimes it is a collaborative effort.
But so it's like though, like I don't have to, like I've been doing it 15 years, so like really like 1 to 2 times, like I'll know if I'll just say it on stage, I go, oh, that's clearly the better line. I don't have to sit there and go, what is it? Is it rounded? What color? If it were a musical note, what would that word
And
be?
everybody's different. Like I spend a lot of times I write all my jokes out
Dude,
long
I've just
form,
been
and a
staring
lot
at
of
your
people
hands
don't.
the whole time. Just
Oh, now the
staring at
seeing
your
is
hands.
seeing why you get tired of looking at it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go on, Ms. Jenner.
Because what I'll do is that I overwrite jokes, and then I have to spend a lot of time chopping them because I'm like, this joke has way too much going on. And so I think that the process is just different for a lot of people. And then we have friends that never write anything down. They're just they just get up there and
Are they any
figure it out.
good?
Yeah, there's some people that are good at it, and they can just keep it all in their head.
Last night I debuted some new jokes at the VFW comedy show.
Well, here we're an audience. Debut the joke right here.
No,
Come on.
It doesn't work that way.
And as a non-comic, why doesn't it work that way?
Okay, let me tell the story first. and then we'll come
Because
back
we're
by.
not in a comedy club.
No.
What's the difference?
It's a big difference.
There's an audience. People won't interrupt you.
Sorry.
There's
The
an
comedy
ambiance.
audience, people usually like the person.
Yeah, and this whole side of the table's got some angst, is what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I do it in long form. I have to write it. I mean, I write it out. I showed up with a 1-page typewritten sheet for the joke, and that's
the whole joke.
Yeah, and then of course I change it. That's the first time I ever did it. I did on stage. I'm like, I left. I'm like, that's pretty good. That has a lot of legs. I think it has a lot of potential, and it was moderately funny.
Okay.
But and that the VFW showcase, everyone kills it. So for me to go up and kind of workshop a joke, I thought, it was risky of me, but I felt pretty good getting off that
How many
stage.
paragraphs was that?
Probably 3 or 4. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm already falling asleep.
It better be a damn good punchline.
See, and it's,
The
I try and,
culmination of that joke has to be
I've heard
really
it.
good.
People say you're supposed to write a joke. You're supposed to take out every word until the point where if you took out one more word, it literally wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So you got some work to do.
I do. Yeah. Well, that's yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Welcome to Comedy Workshop. That's exactly how it is. You feel good about something.
I've
And
only-
somebody goes, wow, that just sounds like a bad idea, period.
I've only been to that VFW once, and it was way back when there were no hipsters there. So let's think about that for a second.
okay.
No, it's still going on. There are very few hipsters. That is
Really?
a rockin' room.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, our lineup last night was awesome. It was packed again. I mean, there had to be 50, 60, 70 people there, which is great for a showcase.
And not
on that
one
Tuesday night.
hipster?
No, not really. Yeah.
So who are they?
What's a hipster?
Last night, a hipster?
Define hipster. Let's see if we're on the same page here.
I would say someone with grungy hair.
Grungy hair. They like Nirvana.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They're not
wear
trying to.
flannel.
They're full of angst and kind of anti-social sort of. Hey, and I like this music because it sends a message and everything's a message. That's
Not
what
what
I
I
do.
think a hipster is either.
Yeah.
But go on. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, no, our lineup last night was like, let's see, Chris Maddock, Isaac Whitty, Dan Mogul, of course, me, Hesley, who else was it? G. Cole, Colleen Doyle Justice. I'm forgetting some people, but
Fun times.
Yeah, Michael Walsh.
Okay.
But it's generally generally professional comedians.
Yeah.
And kind of the up and coming. Melissa Carrington is coming to me too. But generally professional comedians, and the crowd is great. That is what a great room to try stuff. You should come back.
Back? Oh, to the yeah. Well, I have my own show on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
House of Comedy.
Where's the House of Comedy?
It's the Mall of America on the 4th floor.
All right.
Let's talk about
That's
your show
why
on
it's-
Tuesdays.
Okay.
Are there hipsters there?
No.
No, it's pretty upscale.
Or
The food's
Seattle
good, too.
grungers. There's
Yeah.
no
The
candle
food's good.
boxes in there.
So what's your role at the Tuesday night hit, or what do we call it now? It's not hit or miss.
It's the triple threat they call it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't name the thing.
Yeah.
It's a
You just run it.
It's a pre-book showcase.
Yeah.
It's on Tuesdays, and it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an open mic that's booked ahead of time.
Yeah.
What else?
Because there is a variety of people do there. There's some people that's their first time on stage and they're giving it a shot, and then there's some of us that are out there working out new material.
Yeah.
What else do you do at the House of Comedy?
I book the openers, the features, and the middles and the MCs.
Okay.
And sometimes a headliner if there's like a fallout.
How do you make the decision on who to book? Are you out there as a talent scout then?
I mean, I know if anybody's in this town and air quotes deserves to get worked, I already know them, so I don't really need to scout it out.
You
You
didn't
know?
do air quotes.
So you got to find your badge before you work. No, I know where everybody's at, and like I can know who's been working elsewhere and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I watch people when they're new and they come to the. I mean, if they're trying to get work at the place, it's good to go to the open mic and get in front of me, so I can start to get a relationship with them or whatever. But yeah, I mean, but also there's people that are funny and their act just wouldn't work at the mall.
That's true.
I mean, why? What does that mean? Too risque?
No, not even.
No, you can say whatever you want at the mall. It's just that the ceilings are really high and it's
acoustically it's kind of difficult, and it's so big. I feel like
Rick
you have to
Bronson's,
have.
if you're listening, it's fine, but go ahead.
No, it's easy. Once you figure out the curve, it's an easy room to do, but it's hard to figure out at first. And there's not a certain type of person that goes to the shows there. That's people go, it's the mall people. Well, sometimes it's people all from New Jersey. Sometimes this. So it's not. It doesn't. The truth of it is, it doesn't have a niche. So that's what So if you're a comic that can only do like X amount of rooms, then you're going to have problems. You need to be able to be versatile. And
You must be pretty jazzed that they keep expanding the mall. Then you got more potential people flowing through the doors.
I mean, it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
It's on the 4th floor.
Yeah, I don't
It's kind
think
of an
people are
isolated-
like.
It is sort of tucked away.
Yeah, they're not like, hey, I was in the Rotunda, let me decide to go to the comedy club.
Yeah.
It's more of,
It's premeditated
hey,
most
we're
of
in
that.
town and we're in the area. What else can we do as far as entertainment is provided? So
And they're
people
not really
come in for that.
expanding. They're just adding like hotels and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
They're not going to
Yeah.
add more stores, are they?
Rowboat.
Yeah, they are.
Well, they filled in. Yeah, they filled
Bass
in
Pro
those
Shop.
things. It's nice that they have those anchors
Yeah.
for the mall, the livelihood of the mall in general. So
It's going to be all high-end boutique stuff, Prada, all those expensive
perfect
ones.
comedy audience people.
I don't think there's a lot of people
Eh.
rushing through to do their Christmas
I mean,
shopping. I'm going to go spend $20 on a
Versace
show.
store is going to be
Back in the
there.
day, there was Knuckleheads, and I
Yeah.
used to go there every Tuesday, and they'd had a sign up like Acme where you sign up and you don't know if you're going to get on or not,
Right.
and you walk around the mall. And then Knuckleheads closed sometime in the mid 2000s. I can't remember the exact year. And then I didn't go to the mall for 5 years, well, except for once to get hermit crabs.
Ooh.
And then
From a chick.
And then 2009, it opened up. The House of Comedy opened up, and now I'm there all the time again. So
Yeah.
like this thing, I would not go to the mall.
I was
really.
the MC at the at Knuckleheads the week before it closed, and that's
wow.
when they still thought it was gonna be
Yeah.
because they were closing all of those
Jillian's.
entertainment venues up on the 4th floor, and that time they still thought Knuckleheads was gonna make it. Like all the management was like, "This is the only thing up here that's making money. They're gonna leave us alone," and then they said, "Nope, we're closing you too," and it was very unfortunate. Like those people,
Like a
we had
thief
friends.
in the night.
Yeah, our friends lost some jobs they thought they were gonna have. So
Geographically, that was in a great spot on the 4th floor. I used to work the 4th floor as a cop a lot, and the bar floor was fun. And the hallway where we would bring anyone who was fighting was right behind the stage wall for Knuckleheads. So we would always end up in that corner back there battling with people while the comedy show was going on.
Your cop friend still comes in to House of Comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't remember.
Your only friend.
the only one that still talks to
in
you.
uniform.
He comes up and then he stood by my merch table after I was selling shirts after a show, and not a single person bought a shirt because everybody was like, "Oh!" like a cop, and they went the opposite direction. I'm like, "Hey, it's good to see you."
He's just waiting to see who's too drunk to do the math right when they buy one of Mike Brody's shirts.
Could you move along, sir?
Okay, can I tell a Mike Brody merch story? Okay, I think this is really funny. Okay, so Mike. So Mike occasionally drinks too much Red Bull, and he gets really, really excited.
I haven't drank Red Bull in years.
Okay, well, this is the story's a little bit old,
Okay.
and so somebody came by and picked up one of Mike Brody's shirts, like they thought it was free, and just went to leave with the shirt, and Mike flipped out, like you got all jittery. And
I don't remember that.
You don't? Oh my God, that was it was like
Where?
3 years ago at HOC.
Really?
Yeah, somebody came up and tried to steal one of your shirts. You have good stories when you remember them. That was a good one.
There's a Red Bull blackout.
And you've talked in your act. This is one of my favorite jokes. I've seen you perform once or twice about how you're medicated. And I'm just going to see where this goes. It gets rid of your fight and flight.
Yeah.
That's a great bit.
I mean, I don't remember that, but that happens sometimes. It drives me crazy. We don't sell shirts because we're like, hey, we're corny. We love to sell bumper
Right.
stickers. We're like trying to make gas money, trying to make like.
So when people are like, you should give me one free, I'm helping you out. No, you're not.
In the audience, it's the worst because this happens like once every 10 times. I'll be like, I have shirts for sale, and I'll put them up, and some drunk bachelorette will just go, I want one for free,
Yeah.
and then nobody wants to buy one now
Right.
because then I was just a jerk,
Yeah.
and they've lowered the bar. on it.
I'm advertising for you to look cute on me. I just know. Give me the money or don't. It's fine. You know. So. And what was the story? You could tell this story. We should have this one good Mike Brody story because House of Comedy does attract some interesting people. And what was your story about the guy who had his feet on the stage?
Oh yeah.
Tell that story.
Being a comic is like being a bartender in the sense that that's our stage. You don't go behind the bar. You know, you ever go behind a bar with a bartender? They're like, "What the hell are you doing? Get out!" So this guy in the front row, and I have big feet. I'm clumsy. He had his feet up on the stage, and like all reclined, like his feet up across and stuff like that, like way onto the stage. And so I asked him, I go, "Hey man, I think I tried to make it funny or something. Like, hey, your feet are on the stage, like move it." And then he didn't move it. And then I asked him again, he didn't move it. And I think he put him down for a second, then he put it back up again. And I was like, "Dude, get your feet off the stage." Or I was like, dude, your shoes are on the stage, And so he took his shoes off, and then put his feet up with his stinky ass socks.
Because he's hilarious.
So then I would just look right at him and I go, "Can I see that glass of water?" And he hands it to me, and I go, "Boom, water on your socks!" And I just poured them all over his socks. And I said, so people in the back would know. I'm like, "Water on your socks," because you have to let the people in the back can't see it. And and his socks got soaked, and it was awesome. And I was working with an East Coast comic who they're kind of hard to impress, and they're kind of like surly and stuff like that. And that Boston accent. But I got done, and he goes, "Dude, that was legendary."
How did the guy react? Did he get?
He just kind of was like,
"What do I do now?"
Yeah, I mean, what are your socks are wet? There's nothing to do, touche.
Good. So he
didn't
recognized it as all right.
He didn't go barefoot after that.
No. He kept everything away from me.
Kept everything away from
You
me.
could have just done that. So.
Okay. Chuck's been waiting to talk
Oh
about
my gosh.
how wonderful Baltimore is for 3 days now.
Yeah.
It's all rainbows and unicorns now.
Yeah, I had a clip, but it was 2 minutes and 48 seconds. This is not worth saying. But, we've been talking about what's happening in Baltimore and the police presence, the cops getting now arrested. 6 cops were arrested, have been charged, and I believe they're all in custody for that murder of the...
Wait, what are we talking? This is new news?
Yeah,
or
no,
the
going
old
back to the
right?
old story, just giving a little background.
Okay.
The guy who got shot in the back.
The guy who was shoved in the van with the broken back.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that guy.
Freddie Gray, was that his name?
Yeah,
Yes.
all
Yeah,
the riots
okay.
earlier this
Right.
spring.
I had a hard time keeping all the police brutality straight.
Yeah. Shut up, Brody. So I was talking to a buddy of mine. There's been an awful lot of cops getting arrested, getting charged, random assassination of cops. So I've been talking to a couple cop buddies of mine, and we were talking that.
You said assassination.
Yeah, I mean they'll be sitting at stoplights and we'll pull up and just shoot at them.
That happened in New York. It's happening in Baltimore now?
Oh, it's happened everywhere. Las Vegas, we had those 2 cops killed in the restaurant, and then the guy went into the Walmart. They were sitting in the restaurant. Someone walked in and just killed them both. Went over to Walmart, got in a shootout.
Anyone's socks get wet?
Yeah, there were no wet socks. No, I don't know.
Go on.
what's happening is the cops are really getting fearful that A, they're going to get killed randomly, or B, they're going to get charged for what they consider to be doing their job. And so what's happening is, I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine, one in Minneapolis, one in St. Paul, and they're saying that the cops are acting more the firefighter role, where they're just basically sitting at the station, waiting for the call, going to the call, handling the call, not arresting anyone if at all possible, and going back to the station and waiting. There's very little proactive police work going on. So I researched what's been going on in Baltimore, because there have been some allegations that the murder rate, not allegations, but the facts are showing the murder rate is sky high in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because the cops are basically taking that on. So I think we're hitting kind of a breaking point where the police are so under fire, both literally and figuratively, that they are not doing their job at all. So we have to have the conversation on how we're going to allow law enforcement to go in this country.
Well, I think that we had started this conversation before about how, if we went back to the McKinney, Texas issue, that it's people on both sides are in a heightened state right now, and everybody's freaked out. And so, people are turning on the cops prematurely, and then cops are using excessive force earlier than they used to because they're so worried that somebody might be doing something to them. So it has, on both levels, just kind of gotten out of control.
Watch your wording. I mean, they're using force earlier, not necessarily using excessive force earlier.
There are more stories of using excessive force earlier than there used to be. And so I can understand why they're jumping to that sooner, but it's still a problem.
Well, I'm a straight white male, so I don't have to worry about it.
Allegedly.
Unless you want to get
allegedly
some
white. Allegedly white.
If you want to identify as black, you can do that now.
I identify as Chuck's apple.
Oh, he just licked the apple.
Really licked
That's
it.
not metaphor.
So they've had record murders now in May and June as the cops have done this. You want to hear just a moment from Fox News and what they're saying about it? Here's what they're saying about it.
Baltimore's mayor also facing some tough new questions about her leadership as her city grapples with some historic levels of violence. 36 people have now been murdered in just the month of May. And here's what happened when our own Leland Bittert challenged the mayor just hours ago.
Keep in mind, this is Fox.
Because the police are doing less?
So, as I said before, there are a lot of reasons why.
Is that one of them?
We're examining all of
Arrests
those.
are down 50%. Can you please let her finish?
I'm not 100% sure what you're doing. This is a very orderly press conference that we normally held. Your tactics
I'm just
are,
asking a question.
You're not. You're being rude, just as you were before. So if you'd like to ask a question and give me an opportunity to answer it, we can do this. Otherwise, I'll end the conference.
Wow.
Oh, she's going to take a ball and go home.
And that's
I'll
fair.
tell you what, as a cop, I mean, and I'm not a cop anymore, but I still have a lot of friends that are in that circle. I would not want to do that job right now under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. And it's no surprise that arrests
Baltimore,
anywhere.
you mean? Or
anywhere.
Even Minneapolis.
Oh, my God, no. And Minneapolis, of all places. I wouldn't have done that there.
What about Lakeville? We're there at the Chart House every Thursday at 5:30.
Not in Lakeville. I had a buddy of mine from Minneapolis say, they just got rid of their lurk and loiter ordinance. It was a big article in the paper. They got rid of, you can't lurk and loiter, or you can't arrest for lurk and loiter, and there's another one. Spitting on the sidewalk. Because they've determined that there are no real stats to prove that there's any bias in those arrests that have happened, but it could be used that way, and it's more likely to be used against people of color. So they just got rid of those. That kind of stuff.
I think there's a happy medium. I have friends that are like, all cops are bastards, and then I have friends that are like, everything they do is literally gold. Like they're heroes, everything.
Right.
And it's like, man, there's police brutality, and they need to be brought to justice. But we need cops. I don't understand what people are talking about when they're like, get rid of all the cops. There's this city in Spain that doesn't have any cops. Have you seen that thing where they're like, this town in Spain doesn't have any cops, and they're all fine? It looks like a town from Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
There's something's not right there.
And none of us want to live in Westeros. We've learned that if we watch Game of Thrones. So I'm fine with the cops as well, and I think that there needs to be additional training, and that because the world changes and evolves, obviously. So it's a different situation than it was 50 years ago.
When we talk about Baltimore, one of the officers who was arrested, charged, and I believe is still in custody, was the supervisor of the officers, who at some point they're driving this guy, Freddie Gray, in the van. The supervisors, they stop. The supervisor checks to make sure Freddie Gray's okay and determines he's okay, and away he goes. Now, I don't know what she saw, but that woman is facing murder charges. And so they're pulling anyone that had any contact with Freddie Gray, and now you're at the point where, wow, I mean, I could just be on a call with another dude, and if I looked at him and I'm interpreted as not jumping in, hey, what's going on? Maybe you weren't paying attention. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you could go to prison.
Was she manslaughter or murder?
I believe she was one of the ones that went for murder. The driver went for murder.
I know there's a bunch of them that are like aiding and abetting and manslaughter and some other ones.
Don't they have cameras in that truck?
No idea. No idea. No, I don't think so.
Cameras are, I think, the help.
I do like cameras.
Absolutely.
Cameras have busted a lot of criminals, and they've also held a lot of
Yeah.
law enforcement accountable when they do mess up. So cameras help.
It's a tough time. You are bootstrapping your cops. I mean that's what's, and we need to have the discussion. What is legitimate? What's not? We've talked about this ad infinitum on this show, but you don't want to get to the point where the cops are afraid to do their job. And I don't think it's just a statement. Oh, we'll show them. I think they are literally afraid to do their jobs.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to arrest anyone. I would not. It was scary when I was a cop. 3-4 years ago. About allegations, lawsuits.
It scares me that you were a cop.
Oh, you have no idea.
Chuck was. You guys know that Chuck was like a punk rocker in the '80s, right? Like a mohawk and stuff like that. You were like that's it. You were a punk rocker, and then you became a cop.
Yeah.
Like where?
So he went from railing against the man to being the man to now he's like, I'm scared to be the man anymore. I don't want to be the man.
Right. It's like you were Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
It was really weird. I won an award one time, and I went to the Rotary Club or whoever gave the Bloomington Optimist Club. I won Officer of the Year, and I remember sitting at the table with our ancient police chief at the time and a bunch of other people. Thinking, I don't belong in this room. These people are all so stuffy, and they're talking about religion. And I'm like, I said, not my people. I need to go. I just want to go sing the Sex Pistols. It was a transformation, is what Mike's saying, and he's right.
Overrated band.
Absolutely overrated, but still a classic.
I know, it's a great song.
Yeah, if you have any interest in basketball or punk rock music, follow Mike Brody on Facebook, because he's the barometer of what's going on in both those worlds.
Or Twitter at Mike Brody Comic.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Yeah. He has a passing interest.
That's why when I had tickets, I had Timberwolves tickets, I'm like, I'm going to invite Brody with me, because I'm like, what happened?
I think that's the thing about getting to be like, I'm 37, and it's not old, but it's like, I love punk rock and NBA basketball. What do you got a problem with it?
Yeah, that's very
it's unique.
Yeah.
You got a problem with it? See, you're trying to start something.
You want to start a fight?
I just wanted somebody, because I hadn't been paying attention to the Timberwolves enough. So it was nice to have somebody that was sitting next to me that could sit there and go, no, this one, and we traded that guy, and this guy came from there, and this person on the other team used to be our guy, and Brody's all full of all the facts and stats.
We're going to be a lot better next year.
Yeah, you told me that. I'm looking forward to it.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They're going to take him for sure.
Not Okafor.
No, Okafor doesn't play defense. We need defense.
Okay.
And then we had a lot of injuries last year. Shabazz will be better.
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins will be better. I mean, we're not going to make the playoffs still, but we're going to make a lot of improvements.
But it'll be fun to watch,
Yeah.
is what it's saying. That's good.
And Kevin Garnett will...
He will play like 5 minutes a game, but he'll tell everybody how to play basketball and yell at them and scare them and say that their wives smell like peanut Cheerios and all that stuff.
He'll be a good rallying point and something to talk about in the media.
Sounds like Mike Brody and comedy.
And then he buys the team. He's going to buy the team, and then we're going to be awesome. It's going to be the best ever.
Beautiful.
Sounds like Mike Brody and comedy. You can do like 5 minutes of comedy. Tell everyone else how to do it. Yeah, boom, I said that. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are you guys are funny. So what are we doing tomorrow?
We're going to come and do the show, remember?
Okay,
yeah,
I know
tomorrow's
that,
yeah.
but that's called teasing.
Scott
Teasing to
White
listen tomorrow.
of Chive, Minnesota.
Mhm.
We always see these Keep Cool Chive on, Keep Cool Fish on, all the spin-offs of. But he's going to come in and talk about what the Chive, Minnesota is about. It's it's an online community that does a lot of charitable work, and they put out pictures of chicks in skimpy outfits. That's all I know about them. He's going to explain that there's a lot more to it.
They do a lot more than that, so I'm glad he's coming.
Have you heard
in
of
to talk about
Chive, Mike?
It sounds familiar, but maybe I'm thinking of stuff I put on my sour cream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, keep cool Chive on.
We're having a mound of that.
So that'll be tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon at the Chart House. Rusty, we are doing what?
Chart House, we've got Hesley Ray again, and then about to be heading into the Minnesota
Beheading?
Yeah, I know, that's what I was going to say. Thank you for catching that.
We're getting a little aggressive.
We're going to go meet ISIS.
It's a special field trip.
That'll be fun.
We haven't found anyone yet. I don't know what you're doing tomorrow. No, we will be a guy who will be heading to the
Re-heading?
How your guys
He's
know
re-heading.
words? What should I say?
He will be inducted.
You guys are good
will
with
be
words.
inducted.
He'll be inducted.
He's not going to be beheaded at
No,
all.
he's
going to
being
be
inducted.
into the Minnesota Music Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Ryan Lance, who's also very funny, and he'll be on the show tomorrow.
He's inducted into the Music Hall of Fame.
He won't have a head, but he will be inducted
Yes,
into the Hall
very
of
soon.
Fame.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was
That's
he?
cool,
Was
right?
he? I'm not familiar with him. I don't mean that. Was he in a band?
He was in the Blenders.
He was in
and
the
he's also part of Rat
Blenders.
Pack Radio
Yeah,
now.
Rat
Okay,
Pack
got it. I
Radio.
got it.
But 25 years they were the blend, or still are the Blenders.
Yeah.
All right, so there's that. Is that
Yeah.
it?
So two fantastic shows.
Just fantastic, you guys. It'll be so fun. Remember, Charles, 5:30 p.m. Come watch us. It's always a fun show. I think the weather's supposed to be nice tomorrow. Outdoors, good food, good drink. 3rd Street Brewery. Take a blue and white cab home. It'll be all worth your time.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Where are you? All right.
Yeah. I'll see you there,
guys.
man.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thanks
Thanks,
for
Nice to
coming.
meet you too.